Try to commence firing.
All guns! 3 miles rapid fire salvo! No! Okay! Fire!
Captain's dead. What do I do, sir?
Tell you I'm taking over the bridge. I'll pass you the course and speed. Max!
What do you, sir?
Any sailor worth his salt will tell you there is nothing more dangerous, more terrifying, more epic than a surface battle between naval dreadnoughts. Slinging it out on the high seas with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, just you and the enemy, is what carved out many of the proud traditions and heritage of the United States Navy. Otto Preminger attempted to capture this in his 1965 film In Harm's Way, starring John Wayne, one of my favorite movies.
Rock. In the morning. What's it like? A surface battle.
Like any other battle, I guess. Maybe a little noisy.
I'm so scared. My bones are clicking. Like dice on a Reno crap table.
The USS Alabama carried on that proud tradition of service throughout World War II. She was the fourth and final member of the new South Dakota-class battleship, and she was launched just weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The Alabama was one of the few battleships to see combat in both the Atlantic against the Nazis and later in the Pacific against Imperial Japan. She carried numerous weapons, but her primary means of attack would be her 9 16-inch guns, and the Alabama used them often. Her first combat assignment was protecting Allied convoys headed to England, but not from Nazi U-boats, but from Nazi battleships. At the time, there was a very real concern that the Germans may deploy their battleship Tripitz, sister ship to the dangerous battleship Bismarck. The Tripitz was one of the most powerful warships afloat, and the Alabama was just the ship to go up against her. Although the Tripitz never left port to engage the Alabama, many naval historians will tell you that the German High Command was fearful that any such engagement between the two powerful battle wagons would end in defeat for the Tripitz. Eventually, the Alabama was transferred to the Pacific Theater, where she provided life-saving naval gunfire support to U.S. Marine forces at Tarawa, Makin Island, Kwajalein, Truk Lagoon, Saipan, Tinian, Guam, New Guinea, and Okinawa. She was even one of the few battleships to actually shell the mainland of Japan, causing significant industrial damage to factories just south of Tokyo. Her logbooks have an impressive track record of military engagements in some of the most dangerous war zones throughout the Pacific, but astonishingly, she never received any significant damage, and not one sailor was killed in combat while serving on board the USS Alabama. Some people will tell you the USS Alabama was lucky, but the sailors on board the Alabama will tell you that luck had nothing to do with it. They were just that good. Hey, today we are at the USS Alabama Museum located here in Mobile, Alabama. And Karen, I want to ask you a question. Is this referred as a ship or a boat? Let's see if she gets this right.
It is a ship.
It is a ship.
However, there have been other aviators who have referred to it as a boat.
No, the only boat, I contest that the only boats in the Navy are submarines. Anyways, we're here at the USS Alabama Museum, located here in Mobile, Alabama.
Yes.
And we're going to give you a tour and check it out.
Yeah, we're excited. We geek out when it comes to military installations and military history, and the USS Alabama is definitely a part of our U.S. history.
Yes. Well, in this section you can actually stand up, but this is the left powder hoist operator. That is crazy.
That is nuts. Do you imagine how loud it was in here?
Oh, it must have been deafening. And then how'd you like to be, this is almost like an iron coffin, knowing that there's kamikaze planes and everything trying to crash into you, and this is your view of the battle going on.
Literally your only view.
Hey, did you like that? I love that.
You know, we are always constantly amazed at the commitment, the focus to country and to patriotism, and it's never more evident than when we tour any kind of military museum or memorial.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, this is several that we visited so far, and this is starting to become a routine with us. I mean, it is just so cool. And one of the things Karen had mentioned as we were walking through the battleship here is that she just constantly kept going back and thinking about the young men that served on this ship. I think the average age of a sailor in World War II was 20 years old. And to think that a bunch of 20-year-olds were sailing a ship like this basically around the world and fighting in combat was amazing. But even in my time in the Navy, one of the things that I was trying to explain to Karen, and she picked up right away, was a big ship like this is like a miniature city. And in anything a city's got, a ship has got. I mean, there are jobs to disperse payroll, there are mail rooms, there are photography room.
studios, print shops.
There's even a section in here that I didn't even realize, but that every major battleship had their own diving team on it. They had a diving room in there. They got the names of every single sailor that was stationed on the ship, and it's kind of like a living tribute to every single sailor that was there. That was really, really pretty cool.
It is not only a memorial to those to the military might that is here, but it's also a memorial to those killed in action and those injured in action.
And a couple things about the USS Alabama. She is a South Dakota class battleship, and she received 9 battle stars. She was one of the few battleships to serve in combat in both the Atlantic and also in the Pacific. She started off her career escorting convoys up north into Russia with the British Home Fleet, and then later on she was transferred over to the Pacific Theater, where she served gallantly and really received very, very little, if any, damage. Her nickname was the Lucky A, because she'd go through battle after battle after battle, and she would come out unscathed. Now the crew in one of the videos were saying that they weren't lucky, they were just good.
They like to refer to her as the Mighty A.
Yeah, the Mighty A, not the Lucky A. Anyways, we still got a little more to see. We're gonna go look at the submarine USS Drum, and I'm not sure if we'll have time or not, but there's a B-52 out here and some other stuff. So come along, and we'll see what else the park has got to offer. What an amazing military museum. This was by far one of the best military museums Karen and I have visited during our 18 months of full-time RVing. So if you like this video, or maybe some of our previous videos, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube. And also follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more real-time updates on what Blue Line RV Adventures is up to. We're going to leave you now with a few photos and videos from the rest of this outstanding museum, primarily the military aircraft that are also on display. And remember, at Blue Line RV Adventures, we got your 6.